Hello, folks. I'm OdinSpack, and welcome back to 33 years and counting of my favorite games. This is part 24, the year 1999. We are in the 90s. A couple of quick things before we get started. I'm not feeling the best right now, so I might just kind of make this one kind of quick, but I still got to get through it. um, I cut down a lot on the honorable mentions, not because I'm not feeling well, but last time there was a lot. I was looking over my list and like, why do I still have this many? I was like, are many of these really contenders for like game of the year or even in top three? Probably not. So I cut a lot of options that I would have probably loved to have talked about, but again, they're just honorable mentions. They should they shouldn't like make up like most of the list. I feel like that's kind of ridiculous. I feel like that's kind of happened in a few of these videos. Also, nobody's said anything like this, but I just wanted to quickly remind everybody that these are being based off of the North American release dates for these games. So if you think like, oh, that should have been 98 or something, it's based on North American release dates, and then like if there's like ROM hacks and stuff like that, it's based on whenever those came out. Again, nobody said anything like this. Like this wasn't like a comment that was made. I just wanted to address it, like just in case. Uh, so I just wanted to say that real quick. Also, I thank you for all the comments I've had so far. By the way, I'm sorry I haven't responded to like any in like 2 weeks or something like that. I'll do better. I'm really bad about doing that as of late. Just been really busy, but I have been reading them. I've been loving all of the discussion, just on like what your opinions are on some of the stuff I've said or some of the games that you like. So I really do appreciate that, guys. Thank you so much for that. It means a lot. So I've been reminiscing the old days when people used to comment a lot on things. Take that for granted now. So any comment left, I appreciate it. Even if it's a hello, which I mean, I still appreciate it. Anyway, why don't we get into our or my honorable mentions for 1999? So this first honorable mention may come as a surprise to some of my online friends. A recent revelation in how I view this game has turned it from a game I dislike to an honorable mention, and that is Donkey Kong 64 on the Nintendo 64. The reason I say this is a recent revelation is because this game is very nostalgic for me. It is an experience I highly remember. Well, I don't know how much I remember playing it on the N64, but there are things about it that I remember. Um, Most notably, my brother restricting me to only get one golden banana a day to help to help ease my video game addiction I had growing up, which I mean nothing's changed, but that's something I do remember from that. But as I got older, I didn't. I was like, I don't really like this game because it's kind of too much. It's too bloated. But I've started to gather a better appreciation for what it was trying to do. And if you like a game where you collect things, then this is a fantastic game for you. There's a lot. It's basically like 5 playthroughs. Like really, like each of the characters may as well be their own game in the same world. So like it doesn't exactly work like that. Like that's probably like I don't know, reaching possibly a bit, but it does feel like that at points where like the Kongs aren't really like connected in what they do. There is cool things towards the end of the game that does drive that home, but the fact that you have to play through most of the game where they're pretty much separate is weird. That's why I really appreciate the ending parts of Donkey Kong 64, and I feel like if more of the game were like the ending bits, I think people would enjoy this game a lot more. It would get a lot more praise, I feel like. More than just like people are always saying like just map the Kongs to the D-pad or the LNR, which I know they've done in like the randomizer, but I'm saying like it's definitely beyond that. That's just ease of use. That's not the same thing as them coming together. So I do appreciate Donkey Kong 64 for what it was trying to do. And like I said, if you like 3D platformers, which I know I said I'm not a huge fan of, but if you like the collectathon, this is the kind of game you can kind of just relax and do stuff. Like this will take you a bit to play, and that's cool. My other honorable mention for 1999 is Worms Armageddon on PC. This was like my definitive Worms experience. If you never played Worms, it is a multiplayer. I don't know, party game. I don't know if party's the right word. You control worms in a 2D space, and they each get like insane weapons like bazookas and shotguns and grenades and like all these like insane and like that's probably the tame weapons. You get like sheep that explode and like you can like call in airstrikes. There's bananas that explode. Everything explodes. This game is very humorous. There's lots of humor to it. Of that era, for sure, I still appreciate it. A lot of it is goofy and funny. One of the funniest things is using the prod weapon, where you just poke a worm and they just move. But if they're over like a pit or water, they die. And it's the idea of it. It's just kind of funny. You just poking them in. I've always thought that one was hilarious. But I also remember you could record your own voices and put them in the game. And I remember doing this with at the very least, my brother and my sister, I believe, did this, and I did too. So at one point, we each had our own voice packs of our worms in the game. Absolutely dumb, but so much fun that you could do it. Um, I actually remember one of the voices I don't think you could edit for some reason, so that was really weird. But anyway, that's besides the point. I like when games kind of give you that custom customization options. There's another word I was going for there, but we're just gonna leave it at that. I like when games let you do that. I've talked about lots of games on here so far that have those things, and that's one of like my favorite things in games is when you can customize stuff. That's going above and beyond. You don't need to do that. There's lots of humorous stuff in the game besides that. There is a campaign that's pretty fun. Um, but the multiplayer is where it's at for sure. And we played this a lot. So I gotta give credit where credit's due. I still have the disc for it. I still have my original CD for it. All right. There's my honorable mentions, a little shorter. Let's go into my top three for 1999. My bronze medal is going to go to Super Smash Bros. For the Nintendo 64. This was actually, before I started recording, I was debating this being my silver medal, but I knocked it down. I think more so for the relevance that the silver medal is going to have over this one nowadays. Not to say that this one's not important. I mean, like, Super Smash Bros. Was the first in the series. It is an important one. It laid the groundwork for the series craziness that would go on. You start with 8 characters and you unlock 4, which was even crazy then. Like that felt like so much content, and like 12 characters, and now that's like nothing. Ultimate has like a million characters, but I never I I never owned this game until I started game collecting because I don't know. I don't know why we never asked for this. I probably chalked this up to the N64 being my brother's console, and so he kind of had a say on what games we ended up getting, and maybe he just didn't enjoy Smash Bros that much, which I kind of doubt because we definitely played a lot of Melee and Brawl. So I don't think that was so much the case. Maybe we just never ended up getting it. Maybe we just saw it better as a rental game. I'm not sure. But I did get to eventually purchase this when I did do my game chasing, in my 20s. That's my prime game chasing years for sure, is in my 20s, when games were obtainable at decent prices. Um, but this game does hold a lot of memories, mostly for playing it with people at school. My next door neighbor, one of my best friends growing up, he owned it. So we would play that often. Like I said, we did rent it, and I do remember going to other friends' houses to play this as well, and it was just a blast. I remember Kirby was my guy. Kirby was my main. Turns out all these years later, he's like the best character in the game. But I really liked playing as Kirby because I really liked Kirby Superstar. But then Ness from Earthbound, he kind of ended up being one of my my pocket mains. And maybe I just enjoy playing as him more in that game than even Kirby now. But it was a really cool concept. Uh, it was very simple for the time. I just think it's a fun game to play even to this day. This is a game that needs to be on NSO. I would love to play this one online. Nintendo refuses to put any other Smash Bros games, uh, any of these legacy Smash Bros games on these services. They only want you to play Ultimate these days. Technically, it was released on the Wii Virtual Console, but back when that was out, the newest game was Brawl. So I don't know. Like, I- I'm not even gonna get into that. There's no point. It's a good game. Play it. My silver medal for 1999 is gonna go to Mario Party, the original one on N64. It's not called the original one, like the first one, Mario Party. Um, this was formerly my favorite Mario Party game. Superstars, the newest one, I would say is my favorite now. And if you need a reminder as to where that fell on my list, I think that's a 2021 game. Yeah, 2021. That was last year. That was an honorable mention. That didn't even scratch the top three. The reason that I wanted to kind of emphasize that is because I enjoy the Mario Party series for sure. Um, but it's never been one where I'm just like in love with it. However, like of the games that came out in this year, this was a more notable one, I feel like, than a lot of the other things. So yeah, I'm saying I enjoy Superstars more than the original Mario Party, but there was games of that year I just enjoyed a heck of a lot more than games of this year, which seems kind of crazy. I had lots of fond experiences with other stuff in '99. Just nothing I don't think was better than. It makes sense. I think it makes sense. And if not, I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. But I the reason I really like Mario Party 1 is I like the simplicity of it. People complain about the control stick mini games, and honestly, they're definitely right to do so. Anytime they show up, I usually just don't play. If I'm playing against a human player, because I'm just gonna be nice and make it so that only one of us has to do that. I don't want to compete in a game where I'll probably lose anyway, because usually I'm playing against Madame Wario, who is amazing at it. It's her favorite game of all time, and she'll like she can play it way better than I can. Why am I even gonna bother trying to like hurt my hands trying to spin the control stick, right? But that's like one thing I feel like that gets like overlooked a lot, or that is one thing that gets talked about a lot, like why it's bad. I just like the simplicity. Like turns are super fast. Like there's no Mario Party game that has faster turns in this game, and if there is, I don't know what it is. But there's no item system, so it is pure roll luck, like roll to like move to win or roll to move, which I love luck in games. I like when there is an element of that too. Yeah, it's fun to play a game that's completely skill, but sometimes I need that edge. I need something that levels the playing field, and RNG is what I need sometimes. So I enjoy the luck-based aspect of that, and if it doesn't go in my favor, I don't care. That's one of my favorite parts about Mario Party. I don't care if I win. I don't. I don't play to win. I mean, like, I'm going to try to, but if I don't, I'm not going to be upset about it. Which is why I really like Mario Party. One, because there's a lot of the competitive aspects weren't there yet. Definitely a lot of the game is luck of the roll sometimes. If you just happen to go to the right spot or the star appears right in front of you after someone buys the other one, like yeah, as you learn the game, you'll get better at it. You can play the mini games better. That might not necessarily win you the game, which is nice. No, sometimes you need that. I like the fact that when you're doing the team-based versus games like 1v3 or 2v2 that the losing team pays the winning team their coins. Why that was removed, I don't know. That's like one of my favorite aspects of the game. It seems really silly that they removed that in general. Um, Also, this is really random, but we noticed the other day that the red spaces can have the hidden blocks, and that's never been a thing in future in the series. Why not? Like that seems like they should be on there too to give you that. That's This is really random into the game. Like this really isn't that important, but it's kind of weird that they took that out in later games. I just like I said, I just like the simplicity of Mario Party 1. It is very fast. 50 turns is not like it's going to take you 8 years to play. Like you'll play it in like 2.5 hours maybe, and some of these other games like Mario Party Superstars, like a 30 turn game takes you like 3 hours probably to play, like just as much to play as a 50 turn game of the original Mario Party. Is it better? Probably, but I just like the pacing. I just like that you as a player, because it's a board game, get to play more. That's the thing that's like that's the thing that sucks when you play a board game is when it's not your turn. So for Mario Party 1 to make turns fast and get you to the mini game is like what I enjoy. And the mini games are great. Some are definitely misses. It's the first game in the series. But there's a lot of great ones that people still enjoy to this day. So, and I do too. So, Mario Party 1. There's more to talk about probably, but good game. My gold medal for 1999 is going to go to Roller Coaster Tycoon on the PC. Um, this this is a huge nostalgia game for me, and I'm still playing this game to this day. I still have not finished all the scenarios in this game. I grew up with the base game. I never had the expansions. I very recently, within like this year or maybe end of last year, bought on Steam the complete version that has the full first game and the like two extra scenario packs, like the expansion packs that adds like tons of features to it. I'm not trying to sell you on this game, by the way. I'm just saying there's like a ton of content I never experienced growing up, and I'm still saying this is my number one for '99 because I I love playing this game like whenever I sit down to play it, I absolutely just get lost within the park creation just like world. Like I I pretty much build the same stuff every time whenever I play a park. Even if it's like a different scenario, I'll still find a way to still make it the same. And it doesn't get boring for me. Like I really don't get bored playing the game. I know that sounds like a weird thing to say, like it's because the game does take a while to beat each stage. It definitely is it's a very time consuming game. But it is just a lot of fun just to flex your creative muscle and find what works. It's so satisfying to build a roller coaster that gets really high ratings that is just going to generate tons of cash for your park. And like every time that you get like one of those coasters, you're like yes, and then every time you get a coaster that has absolutely abysmal ratings, you're like crap, now I gotta this took me 2 months in game time to build, now I gotta do it from scratch. Like it, it's a very rewarding game, I would say, just to have a lot of fun and just give you a lot of creative freedom. And it's fun to do one of the scenarios. You know, some of them take like 3 years in game, which and every year is about an hour. So it's good to know like the amount of time you're about to take place in. Maybe it'll be if you're doing 3 years, that'll be 3 hours. If you want to do it all at once, you don't have to. But like it's good to know like how long it's going to take you to play a certain scenario. So I really do enjoy that. Um, the music is very nostalgic for me. I've heard the merry-go-round or carousel music, the like two or three tracks that are in it so many times, and I will still listen to it when I play the game. I I just will. I don't know. The title screen is a very nostalgic song for me as well. It's crazy to think like I remember originally playing this game and there was like two types of installs, minimal and full, and we couldn't even do full because it was like 280 megabytes, and we couldn't even do that. And it's like our computer, like nowadays, that's nothing. Like we had to do the minimal install for the game. Like it's so ridiculous thinking about this. Um, like how far technology has come, and this is a game, like I said, came out in '99 on PC, and I'm still playing it on my computer in 2022. Um, and I will one day finish all of the scenarios in the base game. That is my goal. I've been trying it for years. I got so close one year where I had the last scenario unlocked. There was only a couple left to do, and I didn't get all the way there, but I will one day finish all of them. I'll replay Forest Frontiers a million times if I have to finally finish this game. Um, it's this is an all timer for me. Honestly, I've grown to appreciate this game so much these days that it might be a top 10 for me, and I haven't even beaten it before, officially. So maybe it'd be even higher than top 10. Maybe it'd be in top 5. I don't know. I gotta make a new list, but this is a very high ranking game for me, just in my overall game library. So, all right, guys, that's gonna do it for 1999. I'm gonna go rest up, and I will see you next time for 98. So until then, take care and goodbye.